Hey, hey, it's me. I haven't been on for a while. How are you guys? I'm gonna let you have a minute to join me. Get settled in. Oh, I just lost my earring. I just finished doing a private intensive with one of the women who's in the Sheology Mastermind and just arrived back home. I was able to do it in person because she lives here in the Phoenix area, and I love to, as much as I can, gather together the women who are here in town to work in person. But of course, I always do virtual intensives too for those people who are outside of Arizona, across the U.S. and around the world too. So, a couple of you guys asked me or said you wanted this session, so I wanted to get on and talk with you a little bit about the dark side of gratitude. And this conversation actually started yesterday in the Sheology Mastermind for women leaders in medicine, in tech, pharma, and in psychology, right? There's some entrepreneurs in there, obviously, from those fields, but I, every 2 weeks, have a group coaching circle with them, and I talk about a topic that's relevant to them. Hi, Miss Angela, I miss you. We need to connect. It's good to have you here. But every 2 weeks I connect with them on a topic that's relevant to our community, and then I do a live Q&A with them where they get some laser coaching with me, some one-on-one time to kind of work through a challenge that they're having in their own lives as it relates to the topic that we're talking about. So yesterday's topic was on gratitude, and I got a lot of positive feedback from the women in the mastermind community, and I thought I wanted to bring this to our larger Sheology community. I think it's that important. Hi, Miss Jennifer. It's nice to see you guys. You here too. So the dark side of gratitude. So here's the thing about gratitude is that for a lot of us, when we were little girls, we were taught about gratitude, but often that teaching that we received about gratitude came in moments when we were severely disappointed or disillusioned that we didn't receive something that we really, really wanted, and our reality wasn't matching up with what we were wanting to have happen in our imaginations. So an example that I gave yesterday was when I was in middle school and I was getting ready to graduate, I had this idea in my head that I wanted a boom box, right, with a cassette player and speakers and whatever, and I had this perfect image in my mind of exactly what I wanted, and my mom, bless her, and dad got me a boombox, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted. In fact, it was quite different from what I had envisioned in my head, even though, by the way, I hadn't shared with them exactly what I had envisioned. I just had the sense of it, and then when I opened the gift, rather than being elated and excited by it, I was disappointed by it. And so if you've ever had that experience, the parent's response is something like, you should be grateful for what you received. Why aren't you being grateful? And it comes, it's received often by the child, by the girl as a criticism or a thing that you should be ashamed of, rather than as an opportunity to learn that this present manifestation isn't the exact replica of what was in your head, and that you need to get more concise with what you're asking for so that that manifestation can be fulfilled exactly as you desire it or better. So all this to say that the dark side of gratitude is really what I'm finding with the adult women that I work with, is that we have this sense that we're quote, supposed to be grateful for something, but there's a cognitive awareness of it, meaning that you can think that you're grateful for something, but you may not feel grateful for it. And instead you might feel resentful of it, or you might feel frustrated with it. You might be feeling any kind of emotion other than gratitude. But here's the thing that really, and this gratitude is something I've struggled with for most of my life. It's constant feedback that I got as a child that I needed to be more grateful, that why wasn't I being grateful for what I had. And I think that for me, and maybe you can relate to this, when I was a kid, whenever I would hear that you need to be grateful for what you have, what I thought the message was that you need to be grateful for what you have because you might not get anything else. You need to be grateful for what you have because nothing more is coming, right? And so I thought in my head that if I was grateful for something, that meant that I was settling for something that I didn't really want. And that's the distortion, and that's the dark side of understanding gratitude. What the truth about gratitude is this, is that gratitude is the first cause of all good things. And as you experience gratitude in your life for what's going on in your life, you actually draw closer to God. And when you draw closer to God, those desires, your heart's desires that you have for yourself, actually become manifested in physical reality much, much more quickly than what you would if you weren't feeling grateful. Jennifer Bueller says, I always heard that a bird would poop on my lip if I kept pouting. Exactly. How many of us heard that one, right? It's like that disappointment that something didn't turn out exactly how we wanted it to or better, when actually how we want things to be is actually possible for us. And I think the distortion in the teaching and the understanding, it comes because our parents do the best they can with the information that they have. And as we evolve spiritually and intellectually and creatively, we realize that there is a deeper divine connection to all that, a deeper divine connection and reality, truth, to what it means to actually be grateful. So here's the thing. Gratitude, when it's not working right in your life, is masking or covering up or sort of putting a veneer, a thin veneer at that, over feelings of resentment or feelings of dissatisfaction. And you can always tell when you're doing that when you say things to yourself like, well, I should be grateful for what I have. Or you look at the pile of clutter sitting on your dining table and think, how can I be grateful for this, right? Or that I should somehow figure out how to be grateful for this. Here's my trick, if you will, to kind of circumventing this whole resentment, what I'm settling for, because gratitude, when it's not used properly, can actually create situations where you settle for or tolerate things that aren't healthy for you, whether it's relationships or clutter or a job that isn't right for you and that sort of thing. So the way that I circumvent the settling and the toleration, I never mask that with gratitude. You should be able to feel what you want to feel about those things. You should be able to feel frustrated. In fact, it's healthy to feel frustrated about the things that aren't fitting for you. It's healthy to feel disappointed because that gives you information about what needs to happen next. So the next time you notice that you're feeling like you should feel grateful for something, what I want you to do instead of feeling grateful for that thing is to feel grateful that you're noticing the resentment that you have toward that thing. Because even then, that lifts you up a level. It increases your frequency enough that you can start seeing what needs to be done next in order for you to stop settling and to stop tolerating the things in your life that you've been tolerating for a long time. Those tolerations create sort of calluses, right, between you and the things that you desire. They create calluses between you and God even, because your frequency, your vibration is diminished as a result of these tolerations. So do that then. I think that that's my best advice for you today is take a look at your life, at the things that you're tolerating, at the things that you're settling for, and don't be grateful for those things because that's a big fat lie. How can you be grateful for, at this moment, maybe on down the line, you can be grateful for those things and understand them in the context of what's going on in your life and how they help you get to where you need to be in the future. But for right now, if you can't be grateful for something, be grateful that you're not grateful for it. Be grateful that you're noticing the experience of resentment. And just practice that ongoing mindfulness around what's taking place in your life that you're settling for or tolerating. And that gratitude then elevates your frequency to be able to see the opportunity to clear that toleration. One of my clients said that, she's tolerating this old furniture that she's trying to sell on Craigslist. And it's not selling and nobody wants to buy it. And I'm like, okay, then get rid of it. Just call the Goodwill and have them come and pick it up, because no amount of money is worth lowering your frequency to a place of toleration for things that aren't functioning well in your life, right? Does that make sense, guys? Let's see what Angela said. I have to listen again and process it. Yes, you will. And Jennifer, let's see who else is here. Do you guys have any questions for me or anything you want to laser coach on? Just type something in if you do. I'll give you a minute to do that. Yeah, so gratitude is the reality of gratitude, or the truth of gratitude, is that there is not a dark side to it. But I do think that it is something that we have to really pay attention to how it's being used in our lives. Olivia Stull, I am so happy to see your bright face joining us. You're such an amazing bright light in the world. Olivia, you need to connect in with Jennifer. You guys would get along great. You're both horse people and you both live in Kansas right now. And you're both in the helping professions. It'd be a good match. I think you'd like each other. Okay. Don't use gratitude as a veneer to cover up the emotions that you're trying to avoid, unless you're using it to be grateful that you're noticing the emotions. But don't slather gratitude over resentments. Don't slather gratitude over tolerations. Don't slather gratitude over frustrations. Instead, use gratitude to highlight and transform those tolerations, frustrations, and things you're settling for. Okay? I adore you guys. So glad that you're in this community with me. I have a lot of really awesome things coming up in September. For those of you helping professionals, we've got coming up a class, a day-long class. It's an intensive where I'm teaching you guys how to create intensives for your own practices so you can get out of the fee-for-service model and add ideal clients to your caseload, to your schedule, and get paid for what you're worth and be able to combine your expertise and your abilities. It's taking place on September 10th, and if you want more information about it, private message me and we'll have a conversation. But before that happens, we're going to do a free training call as well, so you get to hear about what we're planning for that. But that'll be awesome. I think there's nothing more empowering actually for women in the helping professions than to learn how to add private intensives and VIP days to their practices. That single piece of my business model changed the game for me and allowed me to actually leave the university and go full-time in my business as in Shiology. A little over 3 years ago I did that. So that the private intensives are just my directive right now from my intuition, is to teach you guys how to do this so that you can really create the schedules and the lives that you want around working with your favorite kinds of clients, the ones that you're designed to serve, and to do so in beautiful locations, and to do so being paid what you're worth rather than having to accept insurance and sliding scale and all of those things, really getting out of that model and really stepping into the model of fee for transformation. Fee for transformation. It's a good way to do your work for sure. Okay, dolls, I will see you later. Have a super duper weekend. Practice gratitude, but do it in the proper way. Wield gratitude like a laser in your life. Not like peanut butter and jelly, like you're slathering it all over everything, but really like focus in on asking yourself, what am I tolerating? And how can I be grateful for the toleration? What is this toleration teaching me about myself? What is this toleration teaching me that I need to do next? Okay? And you will be much happier and much more productive and much more abundant and much more connected when you use gratitude in this way. Until next time, see you later.